Good morning. It's Saturday the 8th of May 2021 and here I am in Annan, which is about 8 miles west of Gretna Green, where I walked to yesterday on my first day. So today's my second day here in Scotland, and it brings back memories of when I was parked here in March 2020, and the police knocked on my door and said, "We don't recognise your registration number as being local. I guess you're English, and so please go back home to England." It wasn't exactly those words, but I couldn't tell you the real words. So I'm back at Tesco, and as you'll see from this shot, it's a smallish Tesco supermarket. Unfortunately, they don't do breakfasts here. They don't have any facility, and probably it's a little bit too early for that anyway. It was my intention to get a bus back to Gretna Green and walk back here. As I say, it's about 8 miles or something like that, but you might just pick out a few noises off the roof of my camper van, where it's raining. It's not a very pleasant day at all, and so I'll be abandoning that, and I'm quite pleased really, because I've got an awful lot of sorting out to do in the van and get myself properly organised and prepared, and so I'm quite grateful of the day off, especially as yesterday turned out to be a much longer walk than I anticipated. So my plan is to just bed down here for the day. It was very cold during the night in this van. In fact, I'm shaking a little bit now. It's a bit cold now, and I've got 2 sleeping bags actually. I'm going to get both sleeping bags out and sleep one inside the other tonight, because it was pretty cold during the night, and I've still got to get myself completely organised, and it's going to be quite a big job. I've got lots of things to sort out and put in the right places, which I didn't get an opportunity to do over the last couple of days. But I drove up here successfully. I did the walk successfully, and I'm very pleased that I was capable, but only just, of walking 15 miles, which I didn't expect it to be that long, but these things happen. So I just want to say thank you to all you people who sent messages. I put a message on Facebook saying that I was doing the walk, and about 100 people have written to me, which is a very, very nice send-off. Thank you. Especially nice to hear from the people who've been following me for quite some time now, since 2018, and also a big upsurge in new friends, and you are new, and we'll get to know each other as the walk goes on, and your comments and likes, and if you're on YouTube or both, on Facebook and YouTube, please may I ask you to subscribe. It just increases the numbers, it spreads the words, and I'll feel much happier with that. Tomorrow I'm going to be walking the walk that I was going to walk today, and then I'm going to be heading up towards Dumfries. That's about a 15 miles walk, so having struggled yesterday because I was not quite prepared well enough and I hadn't eaten enough, etc., I'll be doing that 15-mile walk probably on Sunday or Monday. So here we go. This is the first film. It's just from Carlisle to Gretna, and as you'll see, it was more or less following the M6 or the M7 motorways out north out of Carlisle once I was into Scotland, and I'm very pleased to say that there won't be as much noise or as much traffic as I head further west, and it might take a little while before I come into some of the really nice scenery. But I'd just say there is going to be quite a bit of road walking initially, which I expected. I've been following a lady, Ruth Livingston, reading her vlogs, and she told me, and tells everybody, that there was a lot of barbed wire fences to climb and a lot of rivers to sort of wade across and all this kind of thing, and I really didn't fancy that. And so I'll be doing a road walk, and with road walks, unfortunately, there's not that much to see, so I hope you're going to put up with the first few days until we get onto the coast properly, walking along beaches and all this kind of thing, and it will settle down. So once again, thank you very much to you all. Welcome to all the new people that have come on board, and I really do appreciate your enthusiasm, and it's going to be a great walk. I'm in the right mood for it, and it's going to be brilliant. So here's the film from yesterday. Carlisle to Gretna Green. Thanks for having me as often as you have done these days, and it's lovely to see you all. And I'm off to bonny Scotland, so I'll have to bring you some haggis and some iron brew and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're going to be away during me being away. You're going down to Devon again, aren't you?
Devon for a couple of weeks. We've got a couple of camping trips, or one a month for the next few months. So looking forward to getting out.
Lovely.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, nice to
Give
see
us
you.
a wave.
Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Good morning. It's 7:30 on Friday the 7th of May 2021, and things didn't quite go to plan yesterday. They went to plan in terms of me getting everything into the van, and clothes and my screens and my computers and everything, but the worst thing could have happened, where I plugged in my electrics and it didn't work, and it took me a little while to find out why, and that's quite simply that the inverter, which is what converts 12 volts to 240 volts, just refused to work. It's been sat in the van for right through the lockdown, all the rest of it, and you wouldn't have thought that it would have been affected by being out in the cold. I mean, car radios are left out in the cold, aren't they? So it just completely beat me. There was nothing I could do about it other than to go and buy a new one, which they're quite pricey actually. It was nearly 100 quid, but it's of a similar type, and so I went to my daughter Sam's to leave my keys for the apartment, and then I ended up running out of time. As it happens, it didn't really matter that much, because it was only my intention yesterday to drive up to Scotland and get to Gretna Green. At the moment I'm at Southwaite services. It's about 10 miles from the Scottish border. I set off this morning around about sort of 5 o'clock, because I had to take the keys back and pop them through Sam's door and then get out of Manchester, and it's been an easy run. It's only been just over 2 hours. It's only about maybe 120 miles. I've just kept a nice steady 60 on the motorway, thinking, well, look at this, here I am and back, and it's the first time I've driven in the dark for a long time. I can't remember driving in the dark before. Can't remember the last time, and I can't remember driving on a motorway either, and it took quite a few minutes really for me to think, well, I haven't driven more than 30 miles an hour for weeks really. I know I've been going for a walk with my friend Leslie, and that's at the 15-20 miles south of Manchester. So apart from that, it's been just the same more or less daily routine, week in, week out. And it surprises me, even in this service area, which is a very nice service area, there's hardly anybody in. I'm about the only person that's here. And here we are in the sort of middle of May, and the place is like deserted, whereas 3 or 4 years ago, if you came in here, you'd be in a queue for everything, whereas I just walked up to the counter and said, tea please, £2.70 for a tea, £2.70. So my plan today, as I say, I'm going to drive across the border to Gretna Green, which is about 4 miles inside Scotland, park the van up, have a look around Gretna, get on the train or bus back to Carlisle, back in England, arrive at Carlisle railway station and then walk back, which is a distance of about 10 miles. And I can cope with that, I'm quite sure. My legs are a bit stiff actually. I haven't done much recently, but I'm taking it very easy. I've got my camera, I can get the shots that I want to show you, and we'll soon get back into it. And it's going to take a while before I get away from like the built-up areas, if you know what I mean. When I'm walking further west, that's when the scenery is going to happen. So I'm afraid this is going to be a little bit road walking and a bit mundane, but I'll do my very best to keep you entertained. So here we are. It's a long time since you've seen me with a cup of coffee in my hand. Sorry, a cup of tea in my hand. It's Costa coffee, which is tea, isn't it? There's a Greg's here as well, where I can get myself a couple of sausage rolls or a meat pasty or something like that, and that should do me for the day. So it's very nice to be back, and very, very nice to be entertaining you. So I'll see you later. It's just after 10 o'clock now, and I've just come off the road by about maybe 20-30 yards because the noise of the traffic is quite irritating. It just goes drone, you know what I mean? It would be impossible for you to hear me say anything. It's a lovely walk, it's nice and bright. The timing of this has been perfect, I think. The clouds, the dark clouds that I saw on the M6 on the way up seem to have disappeared now. And I'm about maybe 4 miles north of Carlisle, which means I've still got about 6 miles to go or thereabouts. My knees are a bit stiff, that's the only problem I've got. But I bought myself a new walking pole and I'm using that just to get a rhythm together. And that's going to be my only problem, is my knees. Not that there's anything wrong with them, they're not hurting, don't misunderstand me, they're just very stiff. But and I also bought some new trainers for this walk, and I put my old ones on just because they're more comfortable at the moment, especially with walking on just on pavements. But it's been great really. Carlisle looked nice, it was very quiet, like everywhere else seems to be still. And but there wasn't many people around in Gretna Green and the Anvil where the runaway couples get married. That's all closed up, so I mean it's maybe still a little bit early in the season, but who knows. But everything is great. You saw, well, I spoke to you at the services just before the border. Good journey up, everything's going to plan. I'm feeling very happy. And I'm so pleased to be actually back doing something productive instead of all that sitting around. So I hope to have this video finished tonight and get it ready for you tomorrow. That'll be Saturday, and I probably will be walking, but I'll let you know later. So I'm just having a little breather, drink of water, just a bit of a sit down, and as I say, I'm just taking it very, very easy. See you later. Bye now. Taken me that long to actually make my first mistake. When we came to the, or should I say when I came to the big roundabout there where you could go north to Scotland on the M7, or you could take the A7 which heads for places like Carlisle. But there was another slip road that went to the sort of left or the west of the motorway, which would take me, that would have been the quickest way to get to Gretna, but I missed it, missed the turn. So I've walked along the A7, I've got to a place called Blackford. I'm crossing country now, which I'm really pleased of, to get out of this traffic. So it slowed me down just a little bit, and also the clouds are forming now. And it looks as if we might be having a bit of hail or rain or snow or whatever the weather's going to throw at us. I'm just outside a play school if you can hear some noise. So I'll move on. it's 10 to 4 and I've just got back. I had to stop probably about 1.5 miles outside of, to the south of Gretna, and knock on the door of a couple of lovely pensioners, fabulous people from Liverpool, and well, they were Everton season holders, so you assume they're from Liverpool. And I asked them if they'd care to top my water up for me. I was feeling quite faint and dehydrated, and it was a strong headwind all of the way, and my feet are very sore. I've never suffered with sore feet. Maybe these trainers, which are not new, need chucking. I've got some new ones. I thought I'd just risk it for the last day. So here's my figures, and that's it. I'm going to edit this, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. So here's my figures. Today's walk, it's quite amazing. I thought it was going to be about 7-8 miles, which it is on the map. It was more like 14, it was more like double what it said. So just have a look at this.